You clicked this video because this title hit you. And I don't blame you. For those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Vic. As well as being a certified life coach, by trade, I'm an oncology nurse with years and years of experience working in oncology, hematology, and palliative care. And this is why you should care, my friend, because that job taught me something most men never learn, and that is that life really is truly very short, and you don't have time to be lied to about money. So let's expose the biggest lies that I've seen men still believe, starting with the one that keeps them the most broke. Please subscribe and share.
Money is a scam. People are led to believe that the top 1% of the very wealthy have all of the money, which gets trickled down to the bottom 99%. But this isn't true. What actually happens is the 99% at the bottom make all of the money, which gets sucked up to the top 1%. The way this happens is through the creation of debt. So you may think that you put £100 into the bank and then they can borrow that £100 to someone else. But that's not what happens. If you put £100 into the bank, they can then create £1,000 to lend to someone else. All they need to do is tap a few buttons on the screen and then new money's created. Out of thin air. Oh, you want 100k? Here you go, you clown. You just sold us your life and all we had to do was tap a few buttons on the screen. And if you don't pay it back with interest, we will take back the thing that's got real value, like your house. It's the biggest scam of all time. Did you know that only 3% of money is in cash? The other 97% of money is imaginary, just numbers typed on the screen. And did you also know that £192 million of money is paid to the bank in interest every single day in the UK alone? It's a scam. They created it out of nothing, out of thin air, whilst you're slaving away for your whole life working in McDonald's, flipping burgers. But it's okay though, because they never educated you about money. If you or I printed money, do you know what they would call it? Counterfeit. It's illegal, but the banks are allowed to do it. Why? Because we allow it. It's a scam.
This guy's talking about fractional reserve banking, where the banks are basically allowed to lend out more money than they physically hold. But it does get a bit complicated because they don't necessarily lend your money. They create new money as credit, and then your debt becomes their income. That interest on the loan becomes their income. And as the guy said, I think it was like 192 million in interest every single day. If that is true, my friends, that is ridiculous. The real scam, my friends, is that you're literally spending your whole life working, but you never actually learn and understand how money works. And more importantly, not just how money works, but how money grows. The one thing that's so super important to understand, in my own opinion, is compound interest. And especially seeing from my oncology background that we really don't have much time on this earth at all, my friends. And yes, we do need to enjoy life, but equally understand that we need money to enjoy it. So it's important to utilize our time optimally to capitalize as much as possible for our financial gains and put our money into the right assets for them to grow. I know that some people may be saying our whole monetary system is corrupt. And don't get me wrong, I personally don't like it, but it's not corrupt, in my own opinion, of course. And before you hate on me and before you go hating in the comments, my friend, come on, we're better than this. We move forward together, my friends, pound it. The easiest way that I explain to myself is that debt is credit. Credit is money creation, and money creation is economic growth. So therefore, without debt, you basically can't create money. And the overall valuation of the economy can't increase, which is why I don't believe this system's sustainable long term, because our whole economy is dependent on debt. As you can see, the US national debt is in the trillions. It's actually ridiculous. You're not paying that debt off, at least not anytime soon. Basically, if you look at the overview, my friend, it means that without debt, you actually won't have any jobs, any businesses, no mortgages, not even any investments, because there will be no businesses to invest in. So instead of saying money is a scam, etc., like this guy, my friend, obviously, by the way, I'm not slating this guy. I do think he's right in what he's saying, and I fully do understand it. But we're ambitious men on this channel. We're strong men. So you have to understand that nothing's going to happen. The system is how it is. The responsibility is in our hands. But what is bad is our financial ignorance and increasing our financial literacy. So we don't keep pointing the finger of blame, as Alex Hormozy says, towards someone else, because then we're giving them that power. The finger should always be pointed at us, even if it's not our fault. But at least if it's pointing at you, you have the power to be able to understand what's happening and to be able to do something about it. But my friends, if you thought that was bad, make sure that you pay attention, because this one, I think, is even worse. And I want to know what you think of it as well, my friends.
If the banks lived by their own advice, which is save money, the banks would be losing money. When you go and deposit $1,000, that cash that you deposited is a liability for the bank. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money away from your pocket. So when the bank has your cash, it's a liability for them. They want to get rid of it as fast as possible. And the way they do that is by lending it out, because it's an investment for the bank. They don't want to hold on to cash, but they want you to save your money.
You to give them cash.
Right.
And just leave it there.
Leave it there. And what's happening to your cash while it's there? It's losing value to inflation each and every day. Every day that you keep your cash in the bank, you're becoming poorer each and every day.
Your cash is absolutely safe in a bank. Safely losing value. Cringe joke, but anyway, this video is very true because you do not get wealthy holding cash. You get wealthy holding assets. And in my eyes, inflation is the penalty for doing nothing. And in no way am I shaming you, my friends, or anything, but if you are just saving, this will not build your wealth. And guys, don't forget that banks want you to save. You deposit money in the banks want you to do that. They want you to save your money and leave it there. Because when you do, that provides reserve for the bank, giving them permission, because then it allows the bank to issue new credit to borrowers. And because this new loan is created out of thin air, when this person ends up paying money back to the bank, they'll have to pay interest on top of that, which is the bank's profits. But these are the rules, and that's honestly okay. The government and the bank can play their games the way they want, but on this channel, my friends, we play the game the way we want, and we will win. That's why I've made this channel for you, my friends. That's why it's taken me so long to build the online community for ambitious men that want to get smarter with money, my friend. And if you want to explore it, by all means, feel free. The link's below in the description. There's a 7-day free trial, and you can cancel anytime, and it's an absolutely affordable price at the moment for the first 100 founding members anyway, so you've really got nothing to lose, my friends. But remember, mate, saving keeps you safe, while investing makes you free. So choose wisely between the two.
Tell me the biggest lie an adult has ever told you, and when you figured out it was a lie.
Money can absolutely buy happiness. Money can buy happiness. Our parents, oh, money can't buy happiness. But then we would grow up watching game shows where people are awarded money. And what do when they get the money, right? They don't look too angry about it. You know what I'm saying? They say like, oh, money can buy you a bed, but it can't buy you any sleep. Come here. Every single insomniac right now wouldn't mind $1 million. You get what I'm saying? Right? They tell you like, oh, money can buy you a clock, but it can't buy you time. Yes, it can. Give anybody working a 9 to 5 a lot of money. Now they can take as much time as they want to spend with their loved ones. These little wisdom things aren't working because we can now see money can absolutely buy happiness. You get what I'm saying right now? What's that saying that I love so much, right? They say money can't buy happiness, but poverty can't buy you anything at all.
I agree with this guy because let me tell you, my friends, in oncology, my patients, from the experiences I've seen, nobody regrets making money, but they regret wasting time. And the only thing, literally the only thing that can buy you more time is money. Look at it from a different perspective because money may not buy meaning, but it buys the time to create it with people you love. I feel I'm very fortunate to have understood this at a relatively young age, which is why I want to share it with you, my friends. Because even when I'm investing right now for my future, I'm literally investing for my retirement right now. And as I keep on investing, I can literally see how that money will buy me more time to enjoy when I can't work, when I can't grind like I am now. And if time is life and money buys time, then literally, by definition, money buys life. Now, this next lie is a very common one, and if you love cars, my friends, you should probably stick around to watch it, as this is, in my opinion, very important for men to know.
So the lie.
Now, hear me out on this because I'll share a quick experience with you, my friends. Make sure you listen because I have my own very quick story to tell you. And if you have a different perspective, feel free to comment below because it will be really nice to know. Now, a car, no question, is a liability in my eyes, right? But also in my eyes, I do feel genuinely it can be an asset depending on how you look at it. At least for me personally, I follow a principle where there's two things that a man, in my opinion, spends the most amount of time in his life. In his house and his car. And to be honest, for most men, like me personally, I wouldn't just mind literally just having like a bed and then literally nothing. Like even like with this room, like I've tried to keep it as minimalistic as possible. I say this and I have this wall behind me that I've painted, but anyway, regardless. But a man needs minimal things for a house, right? To make him happy. But I feel driving a nice car, for me personally, does something to me mentally. It actually motivates me to grind and hustle more. Although, even driving an old car, I don't know what it is, but it just gives me a homely, very homely feeling. I think it's because from where I come from in Bulgaria, like we were really not raised with much, if that makes sense. And I had the best childhood with the most minimal amount of things with just friends and family. So if you see it from that perspective, my friends, then it could be an asset, but otherwise, a car is definitely not an asset. It is definitely a monthly burden. If you're gonna get a car, my friend, again, in my own opinion, I'm not recommending you do anything, but I would definitely not get it on a PCP plan. I've done the maths behind it. It's absolutely not worth it, in my own opinion. It's like you're constantly renting a car compared to what I prefer doing, which is buying a 3 to 5 year old car, like this guy is saying. If I was to make monthly payments on it for whatever reason, I would make sure it doesn't exceed 10 to 15% of my monthly income. And I'll make sure the repayment period is relatively low. And sure, you got car insurance and stuff like this, things you have to pay for, but you'd pay for that anyway, even if the car wasn't yours and you were just on a PCP plan or leasing it. And not to mention, when you buy a car that's 3 to 5 years old, you're buying it not only at an insane discount, but it's going to depreciate substantially less than if you were to buy a new car and see its value drop. And then with that car, you can part exchange it and then buy a nice approved used car that's newer after 3-5 years of driving this car, technically buy a newer car for a few £1,000s out of pocket, because you would have part exchanged your other car towards the value of the new car that you want. And then the cycle just keeps going on, and that's how you keep exchanging and just keep buying better and better cars for a very good price. But of course, as with anything, the problem comes if you crash your car. Touch wood, that doesn't happen, but drive safely. At the end of the day, my friends, depreciation doesn't care at all how good you look behind the wheel of the car. So if you are looking at it from a complete financial perspective and not a holistic one in regards to your own mental well-being, then yes, I would agree financially. Yes, definitely a bad idea to buy a newer car.
The greatest fictional story ever told is money. We're so quick to like bash religion and the Bible and the correctional made up stories, and then fully believe in money. We believe in money to the point where we kill or we die over it. I know what you're thinking. Of course money's real. I've got a £10 note here. I've got a picture of Scooby-Doo. Cool, Scooby-Doo's real. I've got a picture. If anything, in 2 weeks' time, the picture of Scooby-Doo is still Scooby-Doo. But how many times have they said, oh, you know them £20 notes, from tomorrow you can't use them? And then overnight that £20 note goes from £20 to absolute useless. It isn't worth anything. If they can just make up the value of something, it isn't real.
Money may be the greatest fictional story ever told, but it's a story written in every single man's life. And money isn't real. Money only works because we obey it. The government have decided that this is going to be our currency, and that's it. But the irony of it is, my friends, and I want you to wake up and understand this, because I'm sure you do, but I'm just reminding you, my friends, that money is fictitious, but it's backed by our labor. It's backed by work. It's literally destroying and taking away from people's time to enjoy their life and instead work for money. And even though money is not real, but we've made it real, how funny is it that even though it's not real, the struggle without it is? Because my friends, the paper is not the value, but our belief in it is. And what does it sound similar to right now that a lot of people are saying it's very scammy? Cryptocurrency. The belief. People's money, right? This is why, my friends, I'm personally very pro crypto for the future, because the concept of crypto is literally exactly the same as the way we introduced these notes. We're only chasing money not because it's real, but because we know it controls our time, options, and freedom. So that's why, my friends, in my own opinion, it's more important than ever to get educated and get smarter with money, to be around men that want to become better financially and that are literally walking the path towards their own financial growth and improving their own financial mindset. That's why I'm so passionate about this and helping you guys out here for absolutely free. But if you do want more in-depth stuff, my friend, and actually to be able to talk to me and be around a growing community of ambitious men that want to get smarter with their money, my friends, then like I say, just explore the link below in the bio. It's free, it won't harm you, just to explore it, just to see what it's about. And there's a free trial anywhere, and you can cancel anytime. It's literally the most affordable price it will ever be for the first 100 members to join it. My friends, make sure to like this video, and if there's someone you think will enjoy watching this video too, then make sure you share it with them, my friend. YouTube recommends one of these two videos over here. Click one, and I'll see you over there, my friend.